I started an AI native B2B services company from absolute zero, and 7 months later, we hit 2 million in annual revenue. I'm only 26. We bootstrapped the whole thing with zero outside funding, and we're running a 17-person remote team that does the work, and most agencies need at least 50 people to do so. So today, I want to explain to you the entire story, the exact moves that got us here to our first million, to our second million, the biggest lessons that we learned, and give you an idea of what's possible when you commit to a goal. Before I get into how we did it, you need to know where I'm coming from, because the work I was doing before was highly correlated to what I'm doing right now. I was a partner at an outbound agency working with more than 200 companies, helping them with cold email. I left that company with one of my partners there at the end of May 2025, and we decided to go all in all our dreams to become entrepreneurs. We wanted to create what I think B2B hypergrowth companies need, and we had only 1 month to make this work. We set for ourselves a very strict launch date, which was July 7th. So we only had about a month to make this work. And we had to keep each other accountable to hit that deadline, because we just published that out there and everyone knew what was coming. All I had was my laptop, some savings, and Dan, my co-founder. We literally decided to live together in the same house until the end of the year 2025, and it was one of the best business decisions I ever made. Because when you start a business, there's so many things that you need to get right. There is positioning, there is your website, there is the plan of how to generate leads, content, outbound, service delivery, hiring, and so many other things. So the most important thing to make everything work is the speed of execution, how fast you actually execute. So you might be asking, what kind of expenses do you need to launch an AI native services business or an agency, let's call it that way. So our first expense as a bootstrap company was a bit different than the usual. It was a 15K domain, and most people actually call us crazy. Why spend that much on a domain when you're just bootstrapping? Just get revenue and then you're gonna figure it out. But I completely disagree. When you're in a market that is extremely crowded, sometimes your USP is just your positioning. We live in an attention economy, and I knew that we had to differentiate from day one. So I'd rather start the business at minus 15K than sacrifice on positioning and branding. And looking at our stats now, it actually paid off, because 70% of our traffic comes from people that are writing the domain in full. The other significant cost that we had was the actual development of the website. So when we started, it was simply a one-pager. There was no VSL that I highly disagree. People shouldn't have. It makes your site look extremely cheap. You don't see $1 billion SaaS company doing that, so there's no reason why you should do it. But people really underestimate the importance of having a good website, a nice looking one, and literally every single word that is in there, that it has to be carefully chosen by the founder and only the founder. So this was our site. You can see that this was the homepage, and I'll show you the legacy site. We actually just changed our site, but I want to show you how it was when we first launched. As you can see, it's looking pretty good, but we had basically no other pages. These didn't exist. We just added them now, but you wouldn't be able to find them when we first started. So that's all we had. And then the other thing was the plan. So how are we actually gonna make this work? I don't think you need, when you first decide to launch, you don't really need to create a whole business plan, create a 60-pager Google Doc, and then all the financial projections in a Google Sheet when you don't want to get funding, when you don't want to get investors, because it's just going to end up being a huge waste of time. Everything is assumptions, and you're going to change everything anyways. Our basic plan was what you see right here, which starts from lead generation. What we're actually going to do, that I'm going to break down in a second. How we're actually going to convert them, we decide. And then what's going to happen after people book a call, our pre-call flow, discovery, closing, and then what are the strategies after to upsell them and cross-sell them. So on the 1st of July, 2025, we hired our first 2 employees, and that was before even having a single client confirmed. We had enough savings pooled that we knew that even if something doesn't go well and we have no clients, we can still pay our people, but we needed to train them, because we knew that the moment that we land our first deals, we gotta have some people that are gonna help us to actually deliver the service. Because if we don't do that, it means that myself or my business partner will have to do that. And that will make it impossible to scale quickly. And there's no reason why you shouldn't scale quickly when you start. You're just gonna make your life harder. Because the truth is, the business gets easier as the time goes by and as you grow. We were very confident that we're gonna make this work and we're gonna generate leads the day that we launch, because we started prepping years before the launch. And when I say years, I mean that we built a pretty good audience on LinkedIn. So myself, I had 16K followers on LinkedIn and my co-founder had 24K. That was by posting for 2 years straight on LinkedIn. You can see our two profiles here. Right now, it's more. You can see it's 30 and 43, but when we started, it was 16 and 24. So we already knew that demand was coming, but the only real risk was being too understaffed to deliver when those leads start coming in and when we close our first deals. One of those first 2 hires that we made is still with us. The other one didn't work out, unfortunately. But we launched. The first day was not the celebration you might imagine. There were people that wanted to shut down the business before it even got off the ground, but that's another story for another time. That was our welcome to the real world moment. But in any case, as an entrepreneur, your job is to just keep going anyway. So these were the announcement posts that we made. They were extremely simple. So you can see it's one from my profile and one from Dan's profile. And they performed quite well. It was very simple, but you can see this one had 43K impressions, it had 877 likes. And the whole goal of this, it was just to push people to the site. And then the site would just do the rest. And the domain that we chose was very premium, as you might have guessed. People were actually curious and wanted to know what we do. So the website will do the rest of the conversion to get them to book a meeting. From the first day, we never stopped hiring. The default move in services when you're an agency is to just hire reactively, which means that after a client has signed, we just need to figure out who's gonna take care of that account and then panic and be understaffed. We did the exact opposite. We had 2 more people coming 1st of August. So we knew when we get new contracts in, we'd be ready. And it actually worked out. You can see this is a post from 10 months ago. And this was 1 week after going live. We booked 59 meetings in our first week from warm traffic, which is way different than cold traffic. We had 230K weekly organic LinkedIn impressions across all of our posts that week and 2.4K organic unique website visitors. So to get to our first million in revenue, the inputs were probably not what you expect, but you can see here, this is the post that I made. 1 month after going live, we booked 121 meetings. And this is exactly what we did. LinkedIn content was the most important channel. 36 total LinkedIn posts in the first month that got us 710K impressions. We optimized our LinkedIn profiles to make everyone go to the website, making sure that it's clear who we do and for who is it for, which social proof. Then we track website visitors. We track LinkedIn visitors as well. So for our profiles, then enriched everyone and then send everyone into sequences to retarget them. And then this kept going. So you can see 3 months later, 290 meetings. We kept growing. But I want to just break down a bit the LinkedIn strategy, because you might be wondering what kind of posts were we doing to make that work. So you can see here, if I zoom out a bit, these were the 4 main content pillars, which is building in public, GTM engineering playbooks, LinkedIn content, and then just posting a lot about tools. That's what people love. That's what the algo loves as well. So this is an example of posting about tools. This is an example of a playbook. You can see the performance here. You can see other examples here. And this is what was our main growth strategy. So more aggressive cold outbound, which was still more single base, only came after the first million. And there is a full case study here that I had posted with Carl Poyer. So you can just take a look at this article and read through the entire case study. It was one of the biggest factors that helped us go from 96K in monthly revenue in December to 200K in January. So we doubled our business and we signed our first Fortune 500 client in the same month. The only reason why revenue doubled in a single month was because of the entire system that we built before, and everything started compounding. Content was driving demand, and outbound was converting the same audience that content had already warmed up. So some final thoughts, if you are in the process of starting a business, or if you started a business and you want to scale, are the following. Number one, first who and then how. I first found my business partners, Dan, that we started together, and then Lorenzo, who joined us just a bit later. And I knew that one day we're going to launch a business together. Then I just figured out what business we're going to be launching. You have to put yourself in the right settings that will allow you to meet people, because all it takes is just one person to change your life. If you're going to do it, go all in. I spent all my savings hiring people, paying for the website, paying for a domain, all based on assumptions. But I made sure that I gave everything that I had to make this a success. And your goal should be to empty your tank every single day. Make sure that you squeeze every single ounce of potential that you might have. 3, you gotta show up every day. I got where I'm at today because I've been hyper focused on getting 1% better every single day. In your 20s, time is your biggest edge. The skills that you stack now, they're gonna compound across decades. You just gotta choose how you're gonna spend your time. And I'm filming this at 12 a.m. in Miami. I could be out partying, I could be out for dinner, but I'm doing this video because I know what impact it can have on the business. 4 is that you can get good on anything with 20 hours of focused deep work. I wasn't supposed to be doing this business. I studied accounting. I had no business doing sales, running technical GTM systems, or running a team of 17 people. But every single skill is learnable. You just gotta put in the hours. What separated me from anyone better than them was just hours of actual focused practice work. Almost every skill that you need to scale a business is just 1 or 2 weekends of focused work away, but you need to put in the hours to find out yourself. Anyways, this was one of the best decisions of my life, and I wanted to share it to help some people understand that working on the right thing is much more important than working hard on the wrong thing. When I studied accounting and finance, I was told that getting a good job at a big 4 company was my path. But the reality is that that wouldn't lead me to own a 7-figure company at 26. So just ask yourself, if you keep going the same direction that you're going right now, where are you going to end up? I hope that motivates someone out there. Anyways, that's how we scaled workflows to more than 2 million in annual revenue in the first 7 months. This is my first YouTube video ever, but over the next months, I'm going to be doing more. I'll be sharing GTM engineering playbooks, content playbooks, behind the scenes of building a company while helping a bunch of other companies at the same time, and the different AI tools that we're using to do so. So if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.